going to explain in depth, in detail, and in real time how to assemble EF-88. You should have all of your parts assembled and built before you start to assemble anything. So make sure you have all of your parts together, have them all to the side, and we'll begin. The first parts to go in are the slide lock and the bolt release. These will both go here and here. So the first step is to remove these plates and this one in here. Lock goes into there, and your bolt release goes into here, and you just push it into place. Hold it up so that this goes in and replace the plates. You take the other plate and you want to put it into here, and that will lock that into place. The next parts to go in is the trigger and the trigger safety, and you will need your sear housing and the spring to go along with it. Put the trigger safety in place here. Make sure it is oriented this way with the red side facing upwards, like so. And then you put your trigger into that canal. When the safety drops down, the trigger should not be able to move. And when that's up, it should move freely. This next part will be easier if you separate the trigger housing into two parts. Just take this little piece out from there, take your spring, put it onto the stud that's there. In here, just line up the spring into there and then push that into place. And now your trigger housing just slides over these parts and just push it into place. So now test your safety, so push it inwards. Trigger will not move in, push it out, the trigger will move and it will snap back into place. If this is a bit stiff, if it's not coming back properly, it might be this part in front here being a bit too tight. So what you can do is you pull the trigger back a bit and you just get a nail or something under there. You just want to split that a little bit just to loosen it up. The next we are going to put in place is the recoil spring. That will be this piece here, and you will need a bunch of springs to go along with it. Firstly, you will need to remove a few parts in the back here. Just pull up on these so they come off, and on this side too. And then remove some of these slopes in this area. In the back, we need to get to this brick here. So just remove some of these parts up here to get to this plate. The plate comes up and off. And now we can take this brick out with the axle. We want to place the springs onto this axle, just like so. It should look something like this, and it needs to stick out about this far to reach the recoil spring properly. You want to pull the springs back a bit to make it a bit easier, line that up, and then carefully put this into place. Just drop that in. Snap that brick on the back into place like that, and then the recoil spring should slide smoothly in there. Now while we're here, we're going to put another part in the back here onto this axle in there. Take the connector, pull off this bar, so it might be easier to remove some more parts here just to get to that brick. I can just take it out. place the bar onto there, and then insert that back into place with the bar hanging underneath, just like that. There's nothing else we need to do here, so I'm going to put all the parts back into place and get this sealed back up. And there you go. Everything back in place. The recoil spring working perfectly. Now I want to seal up this top part. To do that, we just want to put this into place. From the top, just plop it down. So get your hands under here, squeeze it into that plate, place. And there you go. We are going to work on this. The first part I'm going to put in is the mag release button. This will look a little bit different, but that's fine. It works exactly the same. This will go into here. I want to start off the pin, take the button, make sure the tail that's sticking out goes back behind this slope so it's nice and recessed, the button up in place in line with these holes, and push the pin in just like that. Make sure that that can move back and forth freely. The next step is to put the actual mag release into here. I'm going to need this part, and you'll need the spring to go along with it. You need to remove the tiles and jumper plates on the top here, just on this left side, so you get your cavity, just like that. Now you want to take your spring and drop it onto this axle. Just want to set that into place, and take your mag release, insert it like that, so that it drops in. You just push back on it and let it fall into place. And it should stick out slightly from there. You can push it. Now I'm going to replace these jumper plates and tiles. I'm going to have a little test. To push the button and watch it actuate the mag release. You can test that with the magazine. Just insert it in. It won't stop in place, but just push it up slowly until it snaps. And then push that. As you can see, it's firmly in place. Next, I'm going to put the rest of the stock linkage into here. I want to take off that side and pull off the bush and washer. Take the stock and start off in this hole. I'm going to remove some of the bricks here just to make it a little bit easier. See what I'm doing, but even just take this into place and do it like this. So all we want to do is place the washer on first, and place on the bush, and then leave that in place just like that. Now I'm going to put all these parts back together. here we're going to assemble and put in place the grip, which is the most complicated part of the build, but still pretty easy. All you'll need is the main part, the 3 extra parts, and the front plate. Take the grip and angle these both forwards. You want to take this and push these pins into the lower 2 holes there, and then put the other piece on the other side. And then you take your front plate, hold it like this, and that should just slide right onto there. And we want to orient these parts to face upwards, just to make this a bit easier. To take that plate off, so I want to face everything like this. Line up the legs of this into these holes, and then pull it forwards and line up that part into there, and just push that on like so. Put your finger in here, push the legs up so they will connect, but we want this to come forwards a bit more, so just don't touch this and just push that forwards, snap that in place, and that will stretch that as much as it needs to. You'll see that it has come up slightly at the front there on both sides. Now I'm going to replace that I took off and put these side plates in place. You just want to line them up against the first plate here, and you want the bottom of the side plate to be half a stud below that, and it should be half a stud higher than that. Just push that down. That was nicely in place, and just do the same for the other side. And there you go. There's your grip. This is the last step of the 2 stock parts. Line that up straight. You might want to lift it, and then you just want to bring it up, line up the 2 halves like this with 1 stud between them, so then all of the jumper plates interface directly with each other. And there you go. Now you can see that bar in there. Just want to line that up. The pin here. Push that in between them. Now I like to just put an extra little piece on the end here to cap it off, just make it look a little bit nicer. Now we are almost done. All we need is the butt pad, which is a little bit tricky if you're doing it for your first time. And to take this, you want to angle this forwards about 45 degrees and make sure this is flat, sticking straight down. Hold the stock, and you want this stud to line up here. So you want to hook that middle around to that stud. Connect the in there, hold it top and bottom, and you just push it on that hinge and it should snap into place like that. All we have left is the receiver. If you aren't using 3D printed parts of the receiver, the 3D printed rails, then it's basically in one piece and it should only need to just use the instructions you get in Studio 2.0. The only assembly you will need to do is to put the charging handle in place. The only thing you need to do is remove this assembly at the bottom, drop the charging handle into place in that channel, and then just place this back on. Just check that's nice and smooth in there. It should stick up like that. Then it comes back. It comes back a bit. This looks a little bit weird. That's because I'm going to show you how to put all of the 3D printed parts on. You will need to take off a couple parts to get the rail, especially the side rail, into place. These are easy to take off and it's easy to assemble. Just get a nail or something under here, pull this lower part off, just like that. And now this side piece. You won't need to take any parts away. If you made the correct receiver, all you'll need to do is put parts out of the way to slide the rails on. First thing you'll need to take off are these. That I'm showing you. At the front here. Take this off just makes it a little bit easier. There we go. And then you take your side rail. I printed this just like that, standing up. So this will go on like this. Just slide it on. And then put the parts back into place. And there you go. Now to put it back on, just take your receiver and line up these ends. These should come together just fine, like that. You want to put this part back exactly where you took it off, just like that. The bottom rail that goes here looks just like this. All you have to do is put it around the barrel, slide it on. You just want to snap it in. The top rail, which I don't usually use, but if you have Picatinny optics, that will fit perfectly fine on it. What you need to do is take off this block, which should just come off like that. Put these parts on. And then take your top rail, which is put together just with the dovetail and then pinned in place. This is just a little tiny bit of filament from the spool. You just cut off a little bit and stuff it in the hole and snip it off the ends to leave it flush. You just want to take this block, place it in like that, and it should just snap in place. And then this front slope just goes on there. And now this whole assembly should be able to just drop in place onto here. Just squish it in. I'll take a little bit of, there we go. I'll take a little bit of fiddling just to get it to stick in place. If you're using the 3D print version, you want to make just a couple modifications up here to make this smoother. Firstly, you need to take this off, and then you want to take off this front bit, this front jack plate, and replace it with a normal 1x2 tile. You just want to do that because the receiver slides all the way over and has these two tabs that hold on tight to the stock up here. So all you want to do is just get a finger in here just make sure all of these plates, just press them lightly. Just make sure everything is stuck together properly. Now, again, to take a ball carrier, it should just slide into place. You need to hold it up a bit to get it over this. Now it will go back to place. If it does this, that's because it is touching the mag stopper. So you just want to look under here. As you can see, it is running into the mag stopper there. So you just want to get your finger in there, just push it up, push it back from there, and there you go. From here we can do a little test. See, it's nice and springy. It's not quite going to the front forward yet, but we'll fix that in a second. Next is to put your receiver in place. That's what we have to do. It's at the front here. Make sure these brackets are underneath the legs of the bolt carrier. And then as you slide it forward, angle it upwards so it goes underneath, under this bit sticking out there. And as it comes back, you want to let it drop back down flat, so then the legs slide straight into the channels in here. This is a common snag point here, where the bolt, where the chamber goes past this and into this spot. So when you're here, it might just stop there, so you just want to angle it up again to get that in nicely. make sure your locking block is out fully, and then pull it back, push it backwards, and then if you hold that down and push the front down to make sure that front tab goes into the hole, it should just all snap together. And now you just push the locking block into place, and that perfectly holds the receiver in place. There is your fully assembled and functioning EF-88. The charging handle back, push up bolt release to lock that in place, drop it down to test that the bolt goes forwards, and now what we're going to do is do a little bit of stretching of the receiver to make sure that it's reliable. So the points that you want to stretch is hold it like this, just bring your thumb in here and just pull out on that. Make sure that still is nice and tight together though, so just want to hold that down and tug on that a little bit. And in the front here, you want to hold it like that, finger under here, and do the same thing, just give it a little bit of a tug. That just releases some of the pressure that's in this point here. And now, hold it like this, just with your on the bottom, thumb like that, and then you just pull on that, and then squish it back down, and give it another little pull, and squish it back down. This is commonly where most of the friction on the bolt carrier is, so I'm going to do that up the front as well. Just want to give that a good stretch, and then switch it back down. Now up the front, again, bring your thumb under there, and just give it a little stretch outwards like that. And then on this side, same thing, just with this here. Just slide your nail in between there as well. You may notice that this is a little bit smooth. It's coming in and out just a little bit too easily. So what you want to do is just hold it at the back and put a fingernail or something in there just to split it. And now that's not moving. And there you go. Now it's fully assembled. As you can see, that bolt is nice and reliable now. The springs that I've used all throughout this are just from an assortment box. It's just these springs here. Pretty sure I got this from Bunnings. It's just like 15 bucks or something. Thank you for watching. I had a lot of fun designing and building this. I hope you had fun as well putting it together and that you enjoy using it. Thank you.